Hello, everyone. It's Leslie Hasser with your Biz Rules Business Coaching, and we're coaching from the Carpool. Happy Monday to you. Big shout out to all my friends and loved ones and acquaintances in H-Town trying to stay dry. Really, wow. A lot of the people we know, their houses are dry. It's just all the roads around them. But we are actually having friends that are being evacuated from their houses or under mandatory evacuation. So if you've got family members or I see Caitlin's probably in Houston, and knowing this, stay safe, stay dry. Don't stay too long, and, do what you need to do to take care of yourself and yours. If I personally can help you, let me know. Be more than happy to share the word or hook you up, or I have a remodel. I have space. I don't have beds, but I have space, and some days, that works too. So today, I have a lot of people popping on, so it must be an interesting topic. But today is all about, what are you doing if you've got clients that are saying they can't afford you, or you're too expensive, or, that price is too high. Money is one of those sensitivities we have. In my book, I'm writing a lot about money because pricing and money has as much to do with our clients as it does about ourselves. And so there's this really interesting juxtaposition about price. Today's topic, so I'm on chapter 6 of the book. If you have not gotten in on the sneak peek community, I'll invite you real quick. You just have to type in hashtag MyBizRules in the comments below, and I'll put you in on this kind of behind the scenes launch community that we're putting together. So the book is really all about small business growth. And I'm not talking about like the SBA's definition of small business, which is 500 employees or less, $7 million in revenue, blah, 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 blah. Those are the really, really, really big small businesses. I'm talking about the 98 million other people. All you other people, the solopreneurs out there, okay? The people that have staff of maybe under 10 employees, probably under a couple $1 million, but more than likely under $1 million. The people that I think are really the backbone of the small business community, that's who I'm a champion for. So I'm writing this book really about, from a woman's point of view, in a lot of ways. I am a woman, that would happen. About small business and small business growth, and actually developing a business that has the ability to scale, has the ability to be sustainable and profitable. So today, though, this week, we are going to be talking all about ideal clients, because I think it's such a crux. It's one of those foundational elements that if you don't get right in your business, you're going to be working really hard, and you're not going to enjoy who you're working with. So we're going to answer that question today on price. Can't afford you, your price is too high. Let me help you understand really the 3 characteristics of an ideal client. And I'm going to be drawing and showing you, and I know Facebook likes to flip, so I'm going to do my best to do it in a very, I don't know, how do you put it, a way that will reverse. And I don't do mirror writing first. So the first person that we're going to talk about when we look at ideal clients, and you have to keep this in mind, is you need to work with people you love to work with. Now, this might take a little bit of time to figure out. Okay, I will let you know that one of the key indicators of somebody I'm not going to be able to work well with is if we have a hard time agreeing on the meaning of a word. I know that sounds really crazy, but the people that have not worked out well in a working relationship as me and a client have been when granularly we are so focused on, does the word mean this or this, that we miss the bigger picture, right? So that is an indicator of somebody I'm probably not going to be work well with. I like action takers. Why do I like action takers? I like action takers because I'm an action taker. I am I don't know that I ever don't take action, in all honesty. If you know me, you know I'm always taking some sort of action. So I like to work with people that will take action. Now, I know not everybody has my, thirst for change, and that's okay. That's why they work with me. But I need to make sure that they're actually going to do something. So if I get a sense that they love to learn, but they don't like to do, probably not a good client fit. Like, you could really take a look at, and as we get on through the rest of the days, I'm going to be talking about ways to better define that. But if you were to just put the Holy Grail of who do you like to work with, that is the first characteristic of an ideal client. You've got to be willing to work with them. The second ideal characteristic, let's see if I can get this going. Might be a little backwards, is they have to know they have a problem. They have to be looking for a solution. Oh, somebody really liked that one, right? They have to be looking for your solution. Cracks me up to no end when I'm out in the business community. And Dallas has a very vibrant business community. But when I'm out with small business people, and I spoke at this one group, gentleman come up to me, goes, I have what you need. And I was like, didn't know I was looking. Because, I think this is funny, so I'm going to play along. I said, okay, how is that? He goes, I've got what solves your problem. I was like, well, great, what's my problem? Already I'm on the defensive, right? So this is what I'm talking about. A lot of times you can see, maybe I did have whatever problem he thought he could solve, but I shut down listening to it because I wasn't receptive. I didn't know that I had the problem. I wasn't looking for a solution. And therefore, anytime you come at me, no matter whether or not you think you can solve whatever problem you think I might have, it's going to get shut down. So there has to be a certain amount of receptiveness in your ideal client, somebody that's actually looking for change, because you cannot force anybody to change. I want you to think about really the invitations that you are sending your ideal client. And, I do some studying under Stella Orange, who's a content writer. More than that, it seems like content writer is such a small title for what she does, but we're having this conversation on the hero's journey. So it's a method that a lot of major motion pictures have been written on, books are written on, mythology, all these things. Anyway, so we had this conversation of there's this process where your client crosses the threshold, right? They make a decision to do something about it. Well, you can't pull anybody across the threshold. You can't push anyone across the threshold. You can only open the door and invite them in. Now, here's the great and groovy part of it. If they come in on an invitation, they're going to be a fabulous client because they want it so bad. All right, so that's two is people you, one is people you love. Number two is your ideal client knows they have the problem and are looking for a solution. 3, it's the magic, right? It's the all get out. They have the money to pay. It's a craziness, okay? So here's what's going to happen. They could love you, and they know they have the problem, but they don't have money. That might be where you are, right? They could have money and love you, but they don't have the problem. They're not going to want to work with you. They could know they have the problem and have the money to pay for your services, but you can't stand to work with them. They're not an ideal client. So see, these 3 quadrants, this is what kind of I think it's interesting in small businesses. We get people in these 3 quadrants and we get upset. We get mad. Everybody always wants a discount. Everybody's always looking for cheap. Nobody wants to work on it. I don't know. Where are you? If you're at this part where they're not willing to invest in themselves, that's about them, not about you. I gotta say. If you're over here and they love you and they have money, but that you don't solve the problem, well, they're not your client, right? They're just, maybe they're not ready for you. Maybe they need to come into some awareness first, and then they'll be ready for you. And if they, do you see my point? So when you're looking for the ideal client, and you find yourself in one of these other little categories instead of the big one in the middle, which I know it's not exactly in the middle, but hey, I'm writing on the fly, right? We want the ideal client in the middle. But when you've got somebody that's just off from one of these quadrants, or not a quadrant, it's a pinnacle, I don't know, triangle metaphor, you have to shift, right? That's all it is. If you're getting great leads, but they can't afford you, then we have to shift, right? There's something in our marketing that is attracting somebody that doesn't have the money to make the investment. And here's kind of a little interesting fact. So marketing right now, a lot of it is really based on a couple of things. Fear of missing out is one of them. The second one is, I don't even have a great word for it, but it's this kind of connotation to where you are invoking the pain and the desperation of a situation in order to get somebody to cross your threshold, that you find and invite people that are here, way down at the bottom. Okay? So if you look at it, people start this slippery slope and start to notice that they have a problem. And they're sliding down the slope. Chances are, in my world, if you've got somebody that doesn't have and can't activate or find or create cash in their world, which all of us have the opportunity to, some better than others, but honestly, you can save a little money. You can not go to Starbucks. You can find a job. There are things you can do. Maybe not overnight, but there are things you can do. But the thing is if you're marketing to this person that has already hit rock bottom and can't afford you, then maybe you need to come up the slope. Maybe you need to start talking to your ideal client up here when they're still receptive, when there's still opportunity, when there's still potential, and maybe even some resources to be able to solve the problem. So you got to understand, when it comes to the ideal client, we're looking at that little matrix of people you love, people that can invest and know that they have a problem. Where you talk to them has a huge impact on their ability to invest. Does that make sense? Rikisha's like, yes, ideal client. So it's not so much that nobody wants your product. It's not so much that your product maybe is priced too high. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I can't tell you that today without seeing a few things. But maybe it's when you're talking to them. Maybe it's how you're inviting them into your business, okay? So one of the things, if I could get across, and I try to, I don't know, there's an art and a science to small business. There's definitely science things. And, I talk about numbers and metrics and things to be paying attention to and temperature checks and things like that. But then there's the art. This is a little bit more the art in seeing that business is nothing more than just these shifts. Once you've learned, oh, hey, I've got leads, but nobody can afford anything. Do you know I had a point in time in my own business, kid you not, 25 sales conversations in 2 weeks. Man, the marketing strategy worked, right? Great results. No one had income. And I'm not into asking people to go into debt for me. That's not who I am. But it's like, how do I put this? I was talking to people who were making less money than what I charge on a monthly basis. Like, there was a huge discrepancy, okay? That told me a couple of things. A, I didn't have a low-end product to offer them. I'll be honest. I love having a yes at every level. Having clients that couldn't afford my service that I offered at that time actually motivated me to create something that really turned into the basis of my mastermind, because I obviously was spending all this effort and time to get these leads in. I just didn't have a product that was appropriate for them and where they were in their business. Okay. Number 2 is, it said, oh, my message is off. I'm attracting somebody that's either too far down the slope, if you will, which honestly makes it really hard to help. You have to have some, if you're down at the bottom, I'll be honest, my track record's a 50-50. It's just, if we have enough time to actually impact change is what's going to determine whether or not we can have success. So of course, I want to be able to get people a little bit earlier on that curve so that we're impacting true change into their business and they have the time to see the results of it. All right. So, think about this when you're thinking about your ideal client. If you're getting a lot of responses of, you're too expensive, I can't afford you, I don't make that much money, know that it's not necessarily you per se. You might need some sales training, who knows. Chances are, though, if you're hearing that a lot, it means you need to shift. You need to take a step to the right. Okay, if you will, and actually step towards people who have the ability to make an investment. Now, having said that, I always feel like I can hear somebody talking in the background, and I hear somebody saying, but, there are people that deserve to be helped. Yes, there are people that deserve to be helped. In fact, I encourage you to help them, and here's how. If you are working with clients that you love, that have the problem, that are able to invest with you, you can also afford what I call a charity account. Okay? And basically, it's a little bit of money in your brain that you are willing to give away through your services. Is that possible? It is. I don't, well, I'll challenge you to grow your business enough so you don't have to put a limit on it. But until you're there, keep it in proportion so that your business stays healthy, but give it away. See, this is this crazy thing about businesses. I think if you can be selfish on the back end or the front end, if you will, when you're doing your foundations, when you're setting your price, when you're writing the rules in your business, when you're choosing who do you want to actually work with, then you can be selfless later, right? When you're working with a client, you don't mind going a little extra, right? You don't. When you come up against a situation where somebody is deserving and they just need a hand up, you can give it. You're not worried about putting money on, food on your table because you need 3 clients. You are safe, you're taken care of, and you can feel free to pour into somebody else without looking for a direct return. So this is how I see us being able to use our businesses to actually grow the economy and have forward. It's what my goal is and everything. I will tell you, I do a lot of stuff for free. I do. I mean, that's why we do these videos. You don't think people have told me what they've gotten from it? They have. It's why I can continue to do them, right? It's why I'll sit down with some people. Not everyone's ready, but with some people, I'll sit down and I'll spend time with them, even if I'm not getting paid, because I believe in the value of small businesses for our community, for our economy, for each other that we have. But it's also because I've taken care of myself and my business first and been able to do that. So if you've got that ideal client and you just need to shift, then join us for the rest of this week, because we're going to be talking about defining that ideal client, maybe in some ways you haven't thought about. So I have 4 quadrants that we work with in my business, and we're going to tackle each one each day this week. All right, guys, we're at 15 minutes. I hope that made some sense and brought some value. I see lots of thumbs, so I'm going to say we were scoring high. I think it's Lynn keeps scoring high in there. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, or this week in Ideal Client. If you'd like to be a part of the book community, the book launch community, see some sneak peek of these chapters, I promise you, even if you know me, you have never heard this stuff from me, because there's only so many hours in the day. And I was sitting with my book editor, Rakisha, there, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is how your brain works. And I was like, yeah, it is. So if you've ever wanted to see behind it, let me know. Just type in #MyBizRules, and we'll put you into that launch community there. So scratchy voice from the Molly Ringwald's concert last week, who's actually going to inspire next week's Coaching from the Carpool. So it'll be all fun. Totally 80s week, if you can handle it. So that's it for today, guys. My name is Leslie Hassler. I'm with Your Biz Rules Business Coaching, and this has been Coaching from the Carpool.